Hey guys, this is Nilesh here. I am dialing in from Sammamish, the city where we live. It is Saturday morning, and I hope it is not too early for you guys. So, just a quick check of hands. Want to make sure that you can raise your hands and you can ask a question through a Q&A button that you should be able to see a Q&A screen on your computer. Do you see that? If that's the case, please raise your hands. If there is a way for you to do that, please do so. Or you can also ask a question anytime if you have, which is going to help you in basically asking a question through Q&A session. Since the number of people who are right now online is a decent number, yeah, Manish has a question. So let me promote Manish to a panelist. And so what I'll do is make him a panelist and make sure that he can participate and actually speak, and basically unmuting him so he can also talk along. Hey Manish, you have the control now. You can talk, participate, and ask or say anything that you want to right now. Are you there, Manish? Hello? I guess there is some technical difficulty from Manish's side. So what I was going to do is open up my slide deck and make sure that I continue projecting my computer and describing you basically the program that we run in our Cloud Genius, focusing on what we run as a program. So if many of you already have at least seen our website, which is where we have this thing that you may have seen, which is the Cloud Genius website. If you look at this, we have essentially one program that we offer up until now, but very recently we have also decided to start a different, smaller essentials beginning program. That's, I think, what you are interested in. In addition to that program, we also have this bigger program, which is focused on cloud computing from an in-depth perspective. It is scheduled to begin in January 2017. What we intend to do in this particular program, which is the Cloud Bootcamp program, is we take people through an intense hands-on exercise using a virtual workstation. Many of those who attend our programs are typically very familiar with Windows as an operating system. However, what we do is we use a Linux machine to begin with. For example, in this screen, what you're looking at right now, you will be using a workstation, which is a Linux workstation running in virtual machine, like VirtualBox, right? Like this one that you're looking at. It's coming up, booting up right now. This is a Linux workstation, and that is the foundation that we will be using, all of us will be using together hands-on as we run through the programs for the Cloud Essentials program, as well as the Cloud Bootcamp that runs over a period of 2 months. So we'll talk more about both of these things, but I'm just waiting for the machine to start. And this is where the Linux workstation is. You can download this workstation right away without even having to register for the program. And what this workstation does, it runs inside your PC or Mac, and it helps you run through a variety of scenarios from a user's perspective, focusing again on strictly on open source. So our program, which is these programs that we have, are strictly focused on open source, and we are also vendor neutral. So what does vendor neutral mean? It means that we don't really tie ourselves and associate ourselves with either just Azure cloud or like you probably seen or you probably know this cloud already. Many of you are being in our area have some association with Microsoft, so you probably have used this cloud. If not, we'll cover this as well. We also cover the Amazon cloud, which is also in our area, in Seattle area, which is this cloud, the cloud solution available from Amazon Web Services. We also go through another cloud called cloud.google.com, which is the Google Cloud. This is provided to everybody from the Google company, which you probably use already, for search engine. So, variety of cloud providers, we are basically agnostic to which company provides that underlying solution, because what we do essentially is go to the core, the underlying foundations, and study those aspects, irrespective of who is actually providing cloud solutions. And so the entire program that you're looking at in the bootcamp perspective, as well as the Cloud Essentials perspective, which I think is available on this site, Omni 212, that you may have seen. Let me just look it up and bring it up right now. So where is Omni 212? Yeah, here. Or maybe yeah, but this is the description that I think Omni has posted, Manish has posted, which describes the Cloud Essentials training session, which the idea behind this session is to get people who are totally unfamiliar with cloud computing, to get them a kickstart. Whereas the other program, which is quite intense, by the way, is we are expecting people to already have some level of understanding in cloud computing to begin with. And then we go in detail about understanding and studying cloud technologies. In cloud technologies segment, in the first segment, what we do is actually cover the core definition of what cloud computing is, understand infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, understand what is a public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, community cloud, understand what these industry players like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and a bunch of other smaller players such as DigitalOcean, Rackspace, Vultr Cloud, Packet Cloud, and a variety of deployment models such as deploying in virtual machines, deploying in containers, deploying using Kubernetes scaling solutions, deploying a variety of open source products that are actually put together to form the foundations of cloud computing. And all of this we do in the context of using zero commercial software. Strictly open source. That's what we tend to do. Sometimes, occasionally, we will use some commercial software provided it is free. As in, don't charge our customers. So the idea behind thinking like this essentially is to retain freedom. The freedom from getting locked in from a company, like it's called vendor lock-in. That is the fundamental problem that I focus primarily in our programs, is to make sure that our customers who are deploying large-scale cloud solutions, enterprise customers, companies like Boeing, Expedia, Microsoft, Dell, EMC, Hitachi, those guys, when these companies provide solutions, we want to make sure that they're not locking themselves with one particular company, one vendor. And so the core idea essentially is to accomplish the solution that we want for the customer to be able to solve for that customer. At the same time, focusing on the idea that we do not ourselves, tie ourselves with one particular provider and lock up in. And a classic definition of lock-in is, for example, me personally, I am locked into this company. All of my music is like $10,000 worth of music is logged into iTunes. And that's, a good kind of jail, if you will. It's like a jail which has a beautiful garden inside, and I'm happy to be in there. But that's a very rare form of lock-in that people actually actively go and seek. And I think that's what I'm saying is it's actually bad in a sense that you lock yourself into the ecosystem that's provided by Apple, which is I'm a victim of. And this has happened over the last several years. I don't know how many years I've been using Apple. And so that's the kind of challenge that we want to avoid, is to not lock ourselves in with one particular cloud provider, for example, say Amazon or say Microsoft. We don't want ourselves and our customers to get locked up. The idea behind this core concept is to remain neutral and find the best of breed solutions that these companies provide, whether it is Amazon, whether it is Microsoft, Google, or a bunch of other companies, because we can accomplish all of that by staying focused on open source. And what you're looking at is this thing, this website is called GitHub, and this is like Facebook for developers. Here people share code, and this is where open source ecosystems, open source products evolve. So for example, in our second segment here in the Cloud DevOps portion, we go deeper after having studied breadth in the cloud technologies segment, we go deeper in the cloud DevOps segment and actually use products such as Chef, for example, which is an open source product called Chef from the company known as Chef. And we use this as a by the way, this is a very popular product. It has, 4,500 stars and 1,900 forks, and lots of people contributing, 492 contributors, like this. So this is one of the main products that we will be using, and it is open source. It is your property. It is my property. It's community property. That's what we like about open source, and that's what we go deeper in the cloud DevOps segment, where we focus primarily on using open source tools like like mentioned here. Another one that we use is Ansible, which is another open source product. This is now acquired by Red Hat. But the idea essentially is we are not focusing on the commercial aspects of what Red Hat does with it, but instead stay focused on Ansible itself, which is an open source product that is your property, by the way. You own it. It's community property. This is another phenomenal 21,000 commits, 29 contributors, 19,000 stars and 6,000 forks. It's an extremely popular product, also open source. If we go these things and look at another open source product called Docker, which is a container product, and that is available to this website that you can use. And by the way, all these tools and techniques are already pre-installed in this workstation that you will be using as you begin the programs. That's what you have in with you. And in this machine that you have, you're looking at this terminal session. The idea behind this workstation is to be able to run hands-on exercises alongside with me when we run that bootcamp program, which looks like, this is where you access it from. So once you go through this and you sign on the back end of this site, once you log in, you will see that there are a variety of things to do, and these are things that you do hands-on. And yes, there are bits and pieces that actually involve coding. So many of you may have coded a little bit, not too much. But if you do code, that's great. However, we do not require you to already know how to code, because we will train you specifically in Ruby to use Chef in Python for you to be able to use Ansible and use Docker, which doesn't require too much coding, by the way. It's just basic scripting. So, for example, here is a scenario of a use case where somebody is setting up something that requires a little bits and pieces of code. So these are things available to you as you sign up and participate in the bootcamp program. You have access to the material here already on the back end. In addition to that, whenever we run our programs, whether it is a essentials program or whether it is any other training program or the bootcamp itself, we actually record the whole session. By the way, let me tell you that even today, the session is being recorded. And so once that recording finishes, when the session finishes, these recordings become available in the website right there. And so here is an example of me training the fall bootcamp. So this is me, and you're looking at my desktop. I'm using my desktop to write concepts, describe them in Microsoft OneNote notebook. You will, use basically it's a hands-on whiteboard screen sharing scenario where I'm actually running through exercises live. So here I am, working with a Boeing employee, Mukesh. For him, I'm creating a custom container that I'm actually live deploying as we go along in Docker. So that's what you're looking at in this example. And by the way, this is a 3-hour-long class. So, the material is available for those who participate in these programs. Anytime we run a class, it gets recorded. And it is highly technical. So what that happens is it gives you a copy of the video itself for you to rewind and replay if you happen to miss something. And we do this for every session after session. As you can see, these recordings are available to people who participate. In addition to that, we also have recordings from earlier periods, like 2015 and 2016. Whenever we started recording, we started recording sessions in May 2015. So ever since then, every single session that we have recorded is available in the site to people who participate. But I must say that, you know what, you will probably find it boring to have to look at something that happened in 2015 because you were not participating. But yeah, just skip that. So we have people participating in these programs, and then they are basically going through the videos that they actually did, which is helpful for them to actually, people crack a joke about it. They tell me that they are binge watching Cloud Genius videos, which is kind of funny. Yeah, it's like Netflix and chill, but not really. It's maybe Cloud Genius and nerding out. That's more like it. And so the concept that I'm really describing to you is, it is hands-on, it is intense. That's the way, that's the right way to describe the scenario of this boot camp. Is an intense training that runs over a period of 8 weeks, and it runs like Tuesdays, Thursdays, and then Saturdays. Sometimes, I think this time we're going to run it Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, if I remember right. Let me go and confirm those dates and times. We have a boot camp. The dates are set for East Coast timing, so it's like kind of Tuesdays, Thursdays at evening time, 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock Pacific, and 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock Eastern. And Saturday it is for Eastern Coast it is 9 to 12, and for West Coast the timing for Saturday is a little bit odd. It is 6 o'clock in the morning, but think of it this way, you get the whole Saturday out. So you don't have to worry about, once you're done at 9 o'clock, you're just free for the whole weekend. That's how I think. And that's the idea behind this particular boot camp that we have set for January, that starts in January 17th and goes all the way through March 11th. Those are the dates. This program is available to everybody, although there are some special instructions for Boeing employees. If any of you is a Boeing employee, you need to be able to make sure to follow these instructions that are specifically for you. By the way, for just for Boeing, there is a website internally available to you called LTP. You go to that website and you follow these steps written down in this website at the bottom. You create a voucher and you send it over. That's how you sign up. You don't have to send a check. You can sign up through a voucher that is available to you. If you're a Boeing employee, you probably know this already. And I have written this down for you because it might help. For people who are Microsoft employees among this group, Microsoft also has recognized us as a training provider, and we are officially a Microsoft vendor. What does that mean? Is that it is somewhat difficult for Microsoft employees to actually get, because you have to actually go and ask for manager approval. Whereas Boeing employees do not require manager approval. They just click a button and sign up and participate. Microsoft, you go talk to your HR, talk to your manager, and have them approve this program. They will probably fund you. If you are a person who is laid off for some reason, depending on economic situations of the company, you should go to this location, Washington Career Bridge. And here you will find that this program, Cloud Genius program, is participating in the Washington Career Bridge, which means that if you are a laid off person who, by economy of the company, you get laid off, you can go to the state of Washington, ask them to sponsor you. And we are eligible for, we are certified as an eligible training provider. What does that mean? Is that you can attend the boot camp and the state of Washington will pay for you. So that's the scenario behind this specific training. And so if you are a soldier, like a military person, you should email us and we will find out a way. We have a special program for people in the military that, this is an example of people who participate. People from Joint Base Lewis McChord, we have a special thing that you can use. I will connect you with folks at the Joint Base Lewis McChord, and you can find out what can you benefit from if you are a soldier. By the way, if you are a veteran, we have a free program for you if you are a soldier. We have just announced yesterday a program for veterans, which is Let me just open it up here. Thank you for your service. Basically, yesterday was Veterans Day, and I said, we are going to run a special program. Just make sure that if you are a veteran, the program is free for you. For that, you have to give a military ID copy or a discharge papers. You have to email them, and once you do that, we will reimburse your money immediately. Like all of the money you paid, we just refund it. The detail is available on this site, and this is just for veterans. So you should read more about that. This is a training program focused on Linux, and we will, have more programs in the future about that in that direction. So back to our discussion, the core discussion. This boot camp takes you in these three parts: cloud technologies, cloud DevOps, and cloud architecture, and allows you to, in the first segment, in the cloud technology segment, gives you a breadth perspective, like horizontal. What's the industry doing in a variety of technology sets, specifically focusing on open source. In the second segment, we go deeper. We actually do very intense hands-on exercises using Chef, Ansible, and Docker. And in the third segment, which is the cloud architecture segment, we take the learning from a breadth perspective and the depth perspective together and apply that in the context of a customer and see how we can solve that customer's problem using best of breed technologies available out there in the industry, as well as using open source products to solve that customer's problem and actually implement that solution. So we go case studies after case studies of a variety of scenarios. And sometimes companies like Boeing and Microsoft and many other local companies in our area come up with their own questions or cases. And we encourage that people actually participate and make use of those things on their own as we go along in the architecture segment. So with that, I would like to open up the microphone so you can ask questions. I'm unmuting everybody right now, so give me a second, and let me make sure to unmute everybody there. And so I'm going to unmute all of you. You have the microphones open right now. If you have a question at any time, you can just ask away. And that's what I would suggest that you do. So your microphones are open at this stage. Any of you, make sure that you don't make noise. If you make noise, I will mute you. And go ahead and ask a question if you have in the microphone, or if you want to chat, you can ask that question in chat if you like. It's totally up to us as to how you want to interact. And what we are doing right now is allowing you time to ask questions. Let me see if there are any chat questions that have come up. So I'm going to see that right now as there are three ways to ask a question. There is a chat channel that we have. There is a Q&A in the webinar itself. And of course, your microphones are open. And I think it is very nice of all of you to not cause any noise. And so that's a good one. So thank you very much for not creating noise, even though microphones are all open. So there is a question about the program that we had. We had a program starting like right now this morning on Cloud Essentials, and we rescheduled that. We will be rescheduling that depending on schedule availability, and Manish will provide that information to you. That question came up in chat, and so I'm answering that question specifically about this program that we had called Cloud Essentials, that we had to reschedule it for scheduling conflict, and that new dates and new dates and times and new information, Manish will make you available. He will make sure that he's passing on that information to you. So he will provide the detail on email or his own methods of interaction with you. And Manish is the person who founded Omni 212. That is this company that you probably know him already. That is this. Where is the training thing here? So yeah, here he should have the cloud training somewhere. Where is that cloud training, man? Where is it? Training. Oh, I cannot find it. Yeah, there is training services that he provides, and the Cloud Genius training is going to be one of the trainings that he provides here. And so I don't see any references in here on the site for some reason, but it's there. So he'll update that site and he'll provide you information, and he'll tell you more specifically about dates and times of the Essentials training that you wanted to take on. And that's your answer to the question that you had about Essentials program. Another question that we have about in the chat is this bootcamp program question. The question was about dates. The dates are published right here. So you go to the Cloud Genius site. So let me go begin at the very top. So go to bing.com and search Cloud Genius or Microsoft, or any search engine, just search. You will find that this site pops up. The domain name is kind of interesting. If you look at the domain itself, you will find that it is actually structured like a call to action. If you think about it, call to action, it is actually calling you to be a Cloud Genius, and that's what you're looking at. So the domain name actually is a nice URL hack. So I have created a subdomain here, and this is the name that we use, which is the name Cloud Genius. Put a dot in there to construct a domain, and put these two subdomains on top. So if you open this site, you will actually reach this location, which I'm going to project right now. Let me start projecting to you again. So here we go, project the screen, desktop, share my screen, and show you this concept that I'm talking about, which is the domain name. And here is the URL hack that I was talking about, and the domain itself that looks like this. We put a dot in there to construct the domain itself. And then we added this b.a. to construct a call to action right in the language, in the body of the domain itself, which looks like this. And so the questions about how do you find information and the start dates and times of the bootcamp, you go to that site, and then you have this button for bootcamp. You click on that. That should take you straight to the specific dates on which we are going to run it. The dates are below these three buttons. We have the red ink showing dates right there. Yeah, this timing actually is being designed for Boeing Charleston. Charleston is a large location where Boeing employees have. They wanted us to structure the bootcamp to suit East Coast timings, and that's what we have done in this January timeframe that we run. It is designed for convenience for East Coast. It is kind of difficult to 6 o'clock in the morning, but I have decided I will do it. And that's why we have this Saturday, 6 o'clock in the morning. And that's like a couple of Saturdays you will have to get up early if you decide. If you're in the area of Seattle area, this will be morning, but that's something that you have to understand. Otherwise, the dates, Tuesday, Thursdays, these are the timings that you have, which are okay, it's evening hours, so you can deal with that. In addition to these hours, there's another question I see in Q&A chat, which is, in addition to these hours that we have, so we have about like 3 hours at a time, and then we run 3 times a week like this. So it's 9 hours every week, and it goes on for 8 weeks. How much time do you require that people participate in addition to what you have already in the class? So the class runs for 9 hours a week, and we expect that you spend at least 9 hours on your own. And so if you're working like on your own on a company like, Expedia, Boeing, Microsoft, any of these companies, give and take 40 hours, you work on your own, the company. So you have to spend 20 additional hours on this bootcamp itself. So out of those 20 hours, you're spending, say, 9 hours in the class itself every week. And then spend, say, about 9 to 11 hours on your own. And that is an estimated 20 hours of commitment on a weekly basis for 8 weeks is what this bootcamp does. but you will find that people who take the program. By the way, there are senior director from Microsoft. You probably know this guy. He attended this program. Let me just pop him up. Mark Myers. This gentleman, Mark Myers, is a senior director from Microsoft who just took that program. You probably can find, if you're a Microsoft employee, you can find him, and he has thoroughly enjoyed the program. He's written me a fantastic email describing how he liked the program. So that email I'm going to pop up. Myers, this gentleman, he writes amazing things. I mean, he describes what he took away from the bootcamp. So long email. It's a solid program. And then he goes about, love the whiteboard examples, the large time commitment. And so he's kind of complaining in a sense that, a lot of time commitment needed, but I think that's okay. He understands that. And so he has a solid baseline for covering cloud, aware of the, variety of usage models. How do you apply this to your work? He says, I'm in charge of a small team that is building out cloud services. So he's going to use those videos. I'm going to rewatch those videos on a regular basis. And so, by the way, this testimonial that he has given is going to land on this site pretty soon. I'm going to take that and put it on this website, which is where we accumulate what people say about our programs. And so here are people from the past who have taken, and that site actually collects and lists out a variety of comments people have made in our programs as to what they like about it and what they take away from the boot camp itself, from the training that we provide. And that's the answer to the question that you have. Let's see if there are more questions on chat and Q&A. Where is that? Hold on, let me find out. Okay, I don't see any more questions on chat. I see that microphones are still open. So yeah, I heard somebody coughing. So I see Manish cough. Hey Manish, can you hear me? And can you talk? Are you there? I saw you. I heard you cough. But yeah, so I think I'm done with the questions that came in the Q&A and the chat channel. Apparently, there are no voice questions. So what I'm assuming is that I have answered your questions. And with that, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for attending today. We will provide more information on Cloud Essentials rescheduling when it happens, and Manish will contact you at that time. So with that, I want to disconnect this webinar and ask you to wait for information from Manish on the next steps on the Essentials program. If you want to sign up for the bootcamp program, you should use the Contact Us button if you like on the bottom of the site, or you can just email me. My email is at the bottom of the screen right there. You can find it in that location. You can email me this way. You can also just go to the site and find About Us, and this is me. You are looking at my picture right now. You can see that you can set up a time and meet with me if you like. You want to grab coffee if you're in the area. I'm open to the idea. Let's go chat. And we should be able to do that. There is one more thing that I want to say is this Slack chat channel. This is where lots of people actually participate in active discussions as they work through a variety of scenarios, and this is open and free to everybody. And I recommend that you go to this site for chat.cloudgenie.us and and invite yourself. So you just say my email goes here.com and just invite yourself. That will basically invite you to join the chat channel if you like. Here you can chat with people in Cloud Genius about anything that you have, and it is, it's open to you for use if you want to use it. You should also set up this workstation, which is what I just showed you briefly. is this Linux workstation that is downloadable from this location. That is a virtual machine that you should use, and that exactly gives you access to ready-made open source software that you can practice on your own, by the way, and that is open source and free to you, so all of you can get it that way. So having said that, what I will do is disconnect this conference right now, and I hope to see you at another time at another conference that we will have. I think we'll have the next one, which is an info session on December 5. But you know, the best way to find out when those next sessions are scheduled are go to this site and go to sessions. That's where you will find the upcoming sessions that we will have listed. And so we have these programs listed here. That's where you can find and participate. Many of these sessions are actually free. And so we run them like for the last couple of days, weeks, we have run a training program for free for public to join. And that is available in our library. You can see there are 2 parts to it. I think you should see that. These things are open access, available to everybody. And this is a training program that we have started. Introduction to Docker. And that is where you will find part 1, Introduction to Docker, and part 2, and we'll do a part 3, and we'll keep doing those things. There are a variety of things available for you to see here. You can, you know, watch this part 1 and then follow along. These are hands-on sessions, so you can play the video right here. And
join this session on Introduction to Docker.
Okay, come on, Videsh. He just started talking. Yeah, that's me. And so the idea is go through part 1, go through part 2, and then wait for the part 3 to get scheduled, which will get scheduled, you know, anytime I'm able to find a slot and time and schedule it. That is Docker training series started a couple of weeks ago. Part 1 and part 2 are available. Corresponding exercises are on GitHub. They all run in that virtual machine that we talked about here. That's where the exercises run. This is Docker already running. You can just run Docker in the machine right here like this. Docker here /a, and so it is already running. There are things running here already. So you should be able to use this thing if you are interested in Docker technology. We are running through a series of sessions, all of them open to public and free. And that is this series of Docker that's going on right now. We will have a next one scheduled anytime. You should sign up for emails. So if you don't have, there will be a pop-up that will eventually pop up somewhere here on the site. And through that, you can sign up to subscribe to emails that will get you notifications if you like. So I think I am done with what I wanted to describe, and I have answered your questions. If there are still additional questions before I hang up, I would like to make sure that you are able to ask them. So I'm making sure that you are all unmuted again. And please ask your questions if you have any. And I'll in the next minute or so, if there are no questions, I will actually disconnect the call. And I want to thank all of you for participating today. And I look forward to seeing you at some point in the future, either on a webinar or face-to-face if you are in the Seattle area. We live and work on the east side, so mostly around Microsoft. I used to be a Microsoft employee, if you did not know. You can find out more about me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn/in/me. And that is me on LinkedIn. So you should be able to find me by my name, and you're welcome to connect with me if you like. So thank you very much, guys. I'm going to disconnect right now. Have a nice weekend. Saturday starts, so enjoy your weekend. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.